KISW.
Hey, it's the Reverend Infuego from the BJ Shea Morning Experience and, of course, BJ Shea's Geek Nation. We're here at the headquarters in Bellevue of one of the coolest places I've ever seen. It's ArenaNet. They are the creators of Guild Wars, and now we're going to take a really awesome look at their new project with Guild Wars 2. Let's go check it out.
Johansson. I'm the lead content designer on Guild Wars 2.
Awesome. And so for those who aren't familiar with Guild Wars, the Guild Wars universe, can you tell us a little bit about Guild Wars and now the sequel?
Yeah, so Guild Wars was the first game that our company, ArenaNet, ever made. It came out about 7 years ago. It is one of the best-selling online role-playing games ever made. I believe we're coming up on 7 million copies sold worldwide. It's been a huge, massive hit for us, and Guild Wars 2 is kind of our attempt to look at all of the things in the MMORPG industry that we think people could be doing better, areas that we wanted to innovate, places that we wanted to take games where, when you first heard the idea of what an MMO would be, these giant online living worlds, it was a thing you imagined instead of the games that people actually made. And so we wanted to take that image we all had 10 years ago about what a game could be, and we wanted to make that game with Guild Wars 2, and that's what we've done. We've all sat down, we said, what are the things people hate about MMOs? And we fixed all of those things, or at least we tried to. We said, what are the things that MMOs do really well? And we took each one of those aspects and tried to improve on them as well so that we could have really this dynamic living world that players are playing in where the things they do actually matter, and you actually build a sense of community between you and all the other players playing in the game, and you have a sense of choice where everywhere you go in the game, all the things you're doing, you always have a choice of how you want to play the game. It's like 7 games, 8 games, literally in one game, and there's just tons of stuff that you can always go do and immerse yourself in this game world.
Even starting off in the game, you don't go out and kill 7 rabbits and go turn in the furs to prove that you're worthy. They kind of send you right into it with a good storyline.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's definitely something that we want to be able to do. Is we think if you jump into a traditional MMO, the first hour or so is usually, or first 10 hours in some cases, is usually pretty boring. It's exactly like you described. You're running around, you're killing rats. So I don't feel like a hero at all. And we wanted to take that moment and put you right in a giant battle right at the beginning of the game. If you're a Norn, you go on the Great Hunt and you hunt down this giant ice worm. If you're a Char, you're literally thrown in the middle of a war. And it's a much more immersive experience. It makes you get more into the game. We throw giant boss battles at the end of all our tutorials and literally layer them all throughout the game. Where in a traditional MMO, most of the bosses are found at the end of dungeons that are something very, very few people playing the game actually get to experience. We put them out in the open world, and then using our dynamic event system, the events can actually scale up and down in difficulty based on the number of players that are there. So literally everyone can experience that content, and as more players show up, the bosses get harder, so the fights are fun no matter how many people are in the area doing them.
That is amazing. Since this is a sequel, we do have to, mention Guild Wars 1. Where does this take place after Guild Wars 1? And also, is the lore intertwined, or is it a whole new setting?
So it's 250 years after the occurrences of Guild Wars 1, and it does occur in the same basic world. It's just 250 years later. And the idea behind that is it allows us to do 2 things. One, it means that new players to our game can basically come in and learn our world fresh 250 years later. They don't need to know what happened in Guild Wars 1 to understand the story or any of the things that's happening now, because basically everybody from Guild Wars 1 is long dead. So we've kind of refreshed everything. Then for our really big Guild Wars 1 fans, we've actually layered a bunch of hidden little nuggets all over the game and pieces that they can discover and find, so they can feel like that world that they knew is still tucked away out there, but it's something that new players don't need to know about to understand our game. And actually, as they play through Guild Wars 2, they're going to end up learning all the lore of Guild Wars 1 just as they play through it without ever having to need to know that ahead of time.
That is really cool. I was kind of wondering, Guild Wars 1 1, it was pretty astounding when it first came out because people were a lot of subscription fees. Every game had a subscription fee, and Guild Wars 1 even threw out there's like you buy the game, you play the game, and you have fun with it. Are you going to keep along the lines with the same thing and no subscription fees for Guild Wars 2?
Yeah, Guild Wars 1 was kind of a landmark for the MMO industry in that, it was the first true online game, and we actually, we didn't really call Guild Wars 1 an MMO. We said it was a cooperative online role-playing game because it was very instanced. It wasn't a true open-world MMO. Guild Wars 2 is a true open-world MMO with you playing with hundreds and thousands of players at the same time, and it's going to be the exact same business model as Guild Wars 1. You buy the game, pay for it once, you can play it for free forever. We never are going to charge monthly fees on Guild Wars 2.
So there's the tour. That's Guild Wars 2. Such an amazing game. Look at this art here. This is amazing art. This is in the game itself. Check out Guild Wars 2. You can check them out just online. Congratulations to ArenaNet so far. Once this game comes out, it's going to be amazing. I love it. For BJ Shea's Geek Nation, this is the Reverend in Fuego. Game on.
The BJ Shea Morning Experience on 99.9 KISW.